The storm was moving up through Florida and then turned left or turned west towards the Western North Carolina. Jamie and I got in our second rental truck with a second solar trailer and another cache of portable solar equipment and left New Orleans on Saturday morning, drove through kind of Mobile, and then we got some texts from our board member in Atlanta about Asheville, and we realized, wow, Asheville is really where this thing hit the hardest. And you're starting to see these texts that coming through, one of them, which was from a nurse in Mission Hospital region, basically saying, I'm on the roof, I have no power, we have no power, the generators only have a couple hours of gas left. So we drove in around 11 in the morning on Sunday to Asheville and got to work. And so far, we've had intake in almost 100 requests for support around starting in Asheville and spreading out into the Western North Carolina region, all the way up into Mitchell County. And we have 47 open sites, meaning solar and battery equipment or water generators or other, we call them sustainable response technologies. So tech that can do power, water, or shelter. This is by far our largest response ever. It eclipses our Maui wildfire disaster response last year. Our goal is to change the course of recovery in Western North Carolina, to tack that large ship that is going to implement, rebuild, reconstruction, all that, tack it towards a renewable recovery that leaves people more resilient and more sustainable for climate disasters through the future of what is going to be a long century. We were able to just buy portable solar generators, ship them from, I think it was Atlanta area. A couple have been helicopter dropped with Starlinks onto people on the top of the mountains. Literally, like they pick them up from our shop out of Mars Hill, where we've been based, and dropping them in. We've had people use them to run oxygen concentrators and insulin pumps, and we've been basically having people come pick them up if they can get to us, or we deliver units to them. And then those community hubs can scatter those portable e-generators out to the folks that they know are most needed. And some of the texts we get are just like kind of, it's intense to see the gratitude, but also the reality that people are living through. In particular, where it's like, we've been, one of those texts is like, we've been running our generator for 2 weeks straight, just being able to turn off the generator for 12 hours at night and run our, my neighbor's oxygen concentrator or whatever on that, and then charge it during the day with generator and solar support. Like, that is, if you're spending $30 on fuel a day and trying to get that fuel and don't know if that fuel is going to get there and you're on oxygen, that is a huge stressor, and it does lead to people having to be evacuated or going to the ER for nothing but an electrical dependency. It is not a medical emergency, it's an electrical emergency. The biggest challenge of this work is fighting the disaster news cycle and figuring out creative disaster financing, because the reality is that we see it every year. Money comes in the door on the back of a disaster, and we're spending general operating funds to gamble our resources, our runway, all of that, to deliver the aid in the first 1, 2, 3 weeks, with the hope that this whatever disaster, whether it's Western North Carolina flooding or the Maui wildfires or Hurricane Ida or Hurricane Ernesto in Puerto Rico, which no one really talked about because it got shoveled into there, and there was 1 million people without power in Puerto Rico for a couple weeks. We are making investments that we need to recoup in order to do the next disaster, and that is we rely on consistent multi-year funding that can say, we see the long game here, and we want to be a part of it in a way that isn't piggybacking. And if we can if collectively the renewables industry can see the long game of climate disaster response and recognize, that there might be a market entry opportunity for the rebuild and recovery space, there is a massive, we can change the face of disaster recovery in a really, really positive way that isn't predatory and that isn't that supports the local communities where they are and sets up the renewables industry for a really positive outlook as we think about how we're going to rebuild communities in the face of climate change. And like, there aren't a lot of win-wins out there these days, and I see that as a win-win, and we need to get behind it.
And if you want to help Will and the team at Footprint Project, or our friends at NCSEA, who've raised more than $1 million in cash and contributions, you could do so by going to footprintproject.org or energync.org. Don't forget to listen to the full episode with Will, as well as Matt Abel from NCSEA, over on our Spotify or Apple Podcast page, where you can find the full conversation that I had with these two amazing humans. You'll find the links down in the description or the comments below. Thanks.